YouTube. Link is in his bio on mine. We'll see you there.
See you there.
I see on it once.
Yeah.
All right. I'm taking this down.
Booty, crotch shot.
Okay, let me send you my friend's information so you can call her. Hopefully she still is awake. She recently
live, baby.
Yeah, she's like in a situationship, ex ship. I don't know. You know, like when you can't get rid of the ex, I never had this problem. I think I was just like, get away from me, like go. But you know, some people they hold on to their exes. Like, what kind of here? I'm just adjusting, Taylor. Everything's now.
What show are we on? Are we on Cosmic Living Room Background Show?
Thank you.
Love it.
This is why I need him in my life. All right.
I love it. What would you do without me? You're exposing the secrets, Sarah. This is supposed to be a sacred show that nobody knows how we make this magic.
Well, now all the secrets are exposed. You guys can copy the formula and become just like us. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. All it is a fucking Zoom virtual background.
I know, exactly.
That could be a name for our. Oh shit! I almost did the crotch shot again.
I know you did it again.
It's when I got because I keep the microphone behind my computer, but this time I'm wearing jeans, so it's okay, and tarot cards. But I'm grabbing the mic behind my computer. I'm not trying to crotch shot it, guys. It was not intentional.
Okay, whatever you say. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is where I'm getting all weird technologically. I'm gonna send you her phone number. What is my problem? Like, don't you just like, oh my gosh. No. I'm going to write it down and I'm going to text it to you. I'm having brain freeze. We were talking about hair dye earlier today when we were on Instagram. And I think some of this blonde dye and the pink has just like sunk to my brain cells where I just like go deer in the headlights about certain things.
So on that note, I'm getting brain cells back since I'm going fully gray now.
Yes, I know. And he is. So
yeah.
Taylor's going to be the brains of the operation.
I'm going to be the gray hair.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Well, I'll have my audience know I'm still not gray on the top yet. It's just the temples, guys.
Well, that's where it comes in first.
Yeah.
I have it there too. You guys can't tell. That's why I dye my hair.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have lots of gray hair on the top, but my hair is not gray yet. It's just the temples that are gray.
Yeah. Yeah. It's leaking in there.
It's leaking in. Yeah. I'm in a war that I'm not going to win here. Yeah.
No, especially if you have naturally darker hair, it's going to show up.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever go on like full on gray, or are you just going to do like a touch of salt and pepper?
I think I'll be salt and pepper. My dad's been salt and pepper. My dad's 71 and he's still salt and pepper. So I don't think I'll ever. My mom is bone white. Her hair's not a single. Yeah, it's just bone white. But my dad's been salt and pepper for a long time, so I got that going.
Got it. Okay, I'm texting you the number, and hopefully it actually works.
Craig says I've got a ways to catch up on him. So,
Craig still has a full head of hair too, I think. Isn't it? Who is it that determines the genetics of the hair? Is it the mom or the dad?
You know, I've actually heard it's the mom's brother.
Mom's
yeah. So, I know that sounds random, but it's the male person on your mom's side that determines what your mom's son's hair will be like. However confusing that sounds, but you know, I've heard it's your uncle from your mom's side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle mom's side.
Yeah. It's just the genetic link of male hair in a family instead of your dad, because it comes from your mom's side, I guess. So it makes sense. Whatever your uncle has. Let's fucking take some calls.
Whatever. Yeah. Fuck the uncle, fuck the hair, whatever. We're going to keep going.
Right,
okay.
Right.
All right. So we are, I think, who are we calling first, Taylor? Is it Willow or is it?
Yeah, we're going to give Willow a call first.
Give Willow a call first, and then we'll call the other.
So we got some fun stories here. I'll let her tell her own story from scratch. I won't even build it up because it's a new direction for the show, and I think that people will be interested in this.
A new direction.
New direction. Yeah. Well, a subject we haven't touched on before.
Okay.
She rings. There she is. Willow, you're on Cosmic Love. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, what's going on? So, well, I mean, talk about yourself for like a second, but then let's get into your story.
Yeah, we don't want to know how you are.
Yeah, we don't really care about like you. We
Yeah.
just want to know the shit you're dealing with romantically.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, totally. No, I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
My name is Willow. I'm 41. I live in Tahoe. My love life is non-existent right now.
It's a pretty universal story.
Yeah.
And that's my story. So, right now, what I'm working on is I've been assigned. Let's not get it twisted. I talked to
Willow?
Yeah, Willow. Did Danielle break her internet?
Oh my God, Danielle's out there. Okay.
The cord.
Willow.
You know?
Wait, were you talking? 'Cause we lost you for a good 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. So you said you've been assigned, and then that was it.
Okay, so basically, I've heard through, some spiritual advisors and some people I met through you, astrologers, tarot, everything tells me the same
no,
thing.
I'm sorry if you heard about it through me.
That is, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what I have to do to move forward in my love life is like cut this cord, basically, to my ex, who's not actually my most recent ex, but he's like the one,
Yeah.
And we've known each other since we were 16. I was 16 years old, and he was 16.
Wow.
And when we met, we stayed up all night until the sun came up talking the first time we met in a playground of an elementary school. And that's how it started. We became super besties, and, we kind of hooked up, but it was G-rated. I was really like a late bloomer in that way, and he had a girlfriend. Yeah. So, then we ended up hooking back up. We lost touch for about 6 years when he had babies and got married, and I was in my 20s.
Okay, so like 22, 23?
Yeah, we lost touch when I was around 22 or 23, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit before that, but yeah. So his girlfriend, who became his wife, she was a little older than me, and our friendship was obviously very close, and everybody around us could sense it. And so she was like, no, you can't talk to her, basically.
Complicated.
Fast forward, what?
It's like complicated.
Yeah, so fast forward 6 years. I was living in San Francisco. I was in my hometown that night of Half Moon Bay at a dive bar, like meeting up with some other friends who were like in town visiting their parents, right? And I had known, even though we hadn't been in touch, through other people from our hometown, that his wife had passed away.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
My heart was broken for him. I felt like I couldn't reach out to him. I didn't have any way of getting a hold of him. All I knew is that he lived in Tahoe. And I just was like, oh my God, I've been thinking about him so much over the years. I feel so bad. He has 3 little kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
to be there
so
for
I'm in that bar that night, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's him.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And I just grabbed onto him. I literally jumped onto him like a fucking koala bear. And he wore me like a backpack for the rest of the night. And we stayed up talking all night that night too, just catching up,
Yeah.
And then he invited me. We talked on the phone a whole bunch for the next couple months. He invited me up to Tahoe to just visit, like for like a long weekend, meet the kids, like go to the lake,
Yeah.
And I went up there, and it wasn't like romantic necessarily in my mind. You know what I mean? Like I was
because you knew each other for so long.
my friend. And I went up there. We couldn't fight it, like, at all. Like, we ended up hooking up on the first night. I stayed for 10 days, and I came back every single weekend, unless he came down with the kids to Half Moon Bay for a year, and then I moved in.
Okay.
And I was with him for 8 years, and I raised his children with him.
Wow. Okay, so
yeah.
so why, what ended the marriage then? I mean, you guys were married, right?
We were not married.
Okay, so what ended the long-term relationship then?
So after 5 years of being together, I went to rehab because, I mean, I had just lost control completely. Like, my drinking was so bad.
Yeah.
I was dying, basically. And he actually had to break up with me to get me to do that. And what he had to do was do that. Like, he created my rock bottom, basically.
I hear you.
Out of love.
Yeah.
And necessity.
Right. And also, like, he was already like he had a cracked veneer. Like, this is a man who'd been through some shit. He lost his wife to addiction. He lost his wife to a methadone overdose, you know, at home. And he couldn't save her. And he has 3 little kids. And here I am, a hot fucking mess after 5 years. And now he has a 4th kid to look after. You know what I mean? Like, he needed a partner. He needed help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I basically took a man with a cracked veneer, and I came in like a wrecking ball. So I got sober, and we thought that was going to magically take all of our issues away, right? That was the problem.
You were healed. Because you were healed, you thought that would heal the relationship.
Right. We both thought that, right? And it didn't work that way. I mean, I came home, I moved back in with him. There were several problems with me, like, within me, that I really needed to work on. And, like, it takes time, man. You know, I had been self-medicating since I was 12. This is the first time I'm feeling my feelings.
Right.
And it was rough. And so a year and a half later, we split up. He broke up with me, but I knew it was coming, and I felt half heartbroken and half relieved at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I've been set free. I had been, like, excused from that situation. And at the time, I had found some spirituality through my recovery program.
Yeah.
So thank God for that.
Yeah.
Because my whole world just changed. And I only had been sober for like a year and a half, and I was still figuring out my mental health issues. I had been diagnosed as bipolar. I was still trying new medications. Like, it was a whole thing, you know, but it was God doing for me what I could not do for myself, because I could not heal in that environment with how hectic it was, and the kids and the practices and the this and the that. Like, I couldn't.
You had to heal on your own. You had to heal on your own.
Right. So now, you know, we haven't been together for like, 4 years, I think. But, like, we're still connected. We're still close. And the problem is that, like, everybody I've had readings from and all that, like, about this has been like, well, you're connected, like, by, like, that, you know, golden whatever soul cord thing. Yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. You do.
Golden cord. It's called many different things, but that is one of the main.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's called what?
There's a few different names.
Yeah.
Taylor, say the name and I'll say.
I heard a golden cord, soul cord, soul tie.
Divine thread. Yeah.
Divine thread.
So,
yeah. That too.
This man is a provider protector. Okay. And so when we broke up, we had ups and downs where we didn't talk. You know, there was some animosity that came up and whatever else. You know what I mean? But then we came to a place where we were like, okay, we're cool. We're always gonna be cool. You know, he has definitely been there for me through some really dark times, like with us not together. I depend on this man. still is the issue. And my fear, it's so fear driven, you know, like so many things. I'm desperately afraid to cut that cord because I'm afraid that I'm not going to find what I had with him and what I still have with him with anybody else.
Yeah.
And what everyone is telling me, you know, mystics, my therapist, my friends, everybody is like, you're not going to have that with anybody else if you don't cut this cord. Like, you don't have space for that.
Yeah.
And, you know, Danielle straight up told me on speakerphone when I was at Taylor's, she's like, there's someone out there. There's someone waiting, but like, it's not going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And so for the past 3 weeks, I've been quitting Joe.
How's
And
that going?
my emotions are so close to the surface. Like, I'm about to cry right now. Just don't.
Go ahead. We have you. We're
It'll make for good entertainment, Willow. Go ahead and cry.
I know, and I am here to entertain. You know me.
Yeah, our ratings will go through the roof.
Like a switch.
Tears always.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's really hard, and what I find so interesting about it is that, you know, it never stops surprising me when these spirit guides and readers and my therapist are 100% right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're all in alignment about this. Even the therapist, they're all in alignment. Friends, therapists, spiritual teachers, they're all in alignment. They're all in agreement. So, you know, it must be true. And the thing is, when you invest energy into a person, even if they're not physically present in your life, that leaves no vacancy for energy given to anybody else. Does that make sense to you, Willow? Yeah, because you're so focused on them.
Yeah.
Yep. And what's interesting is that neuroscience completely supports this. Find very interesting, and I love that. And that's part of what I love about my therapist is like she'll talk spiritual, the cosmic, and also the science that backs that up. Like,
give us an example of how neuroscience reinforces this.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, like you according to the lower parts of your brain, the parts that, you know, most of us don't have control over.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm addicted to him, just like any other substance.
Right.
And so she was like, you know how to deal with addiction. Like, you know what to do. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, cold turkey, baby. Cold turkey.
Yeah. And she's like, for the first 2 weeks, you're literally going to feel like you're going to die because the lower parts of your brain are wired by now to think that you will not survive without this person in your life.
It's such a conditioning.
Yeah.
And it's the same neurotransmitters that get released when you're being chased by a goddamn tiger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your brain doesn't know the difference. It's ridiculous. And she was 100% right. That's exactly how I felt. I still get like waves of it. It's really hard, but I haven't contacted him. And I told him I had to, because we're so close. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just fucking go ghost on him. You know?
No. You've known him since you were 16. You can't ghost him. That's not going to work.
Right. And I'm close with the kids still. So it's like, it's
awkward.
Well, they're so sweet. Like, it was the youngest 15th birthday on Monday, and they all went out to dinner for his birthday, and he called me and he was like, I want you to be there. And I was like, I know, but your dad and his girlfriend are going to be there, and I'm really trying to take a step back, you know? Mm-hmm. And he was okay. And then all the kids got on speakerphone and called me last night, and they were like, do you want to do a birthday dinner with Seth and all of us, like, tomorrow night? You know? And so
that's like cocaine really bumps sweet. Right there.
Huh?
That's like bumps of cocaine right there, each kid.
I know.
Yeah.
It's hard though with the kids, because it's like I can't just dip out on them. you know?
Yeah, it's different. That's where it gets complicated when the kids are involved.
I have to figure out, and this is going to be a spiritual process, you know, I know it. I have to figure out how to separate my unhealthy attachment to Joe that I need to get rid of, that I am getting rid of, and like my healthier attachment to the kids, because it has to be separate, right? It's kind of the same connection right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does, because you probably.
I feel like my intuition is telling me that I already have a separate individual connection with my oldest, Giovanni. Mm-hmm. Like, we have already established our years long, like, separate, completely and apart from his dad, you know? But with the other two, I'm gonna have to make a real effort somehow to like do that as well, you know?
Well, I think there's a major point here that I really want to emphasize for everybody listening, because this is huge. This is a revelation that our relationships with people, especially when they come to an end, are addictions.
Yeah.
They're addictions, and they need to be handled in the same way that drugs and alcohol need to be handled, because it's the absolute truth. And you're saying that neuroscience backs this up as much as spiritual cord cutting and any kind of spiritual counseling that you can get. And that is fascinating, because it's a different process handling an addiction than it is handling heartbreak. And I think we need to understand that it is triggering our base tendencies in our brain that is the same tendencies as addiction. I know, Sarah, you have a lot to say about that. Well, I'm sure you have more to say, but yeah, Sarah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like to actually like go on what Taylor was saying, it's like putting that intention out there, you know, saying it to the world. Like when you quit something, it's like, I am quitting this, right? Yeah, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not shooting heroin, whatever it is, you know, this is what I'm doing. So people are going to.
I tell you, this was part of my scripting.
Yeah, I know. You said, "Hey, Joe, I can't talk to you anymore. Like, I can't be around you. I can't be around your family."
Right.
I told him that. Yeah. I told him that in person.
Right, and you told him why? You didn't tell him it's because I hate you. It's actually because I love you.
He was holding me, and he was like, "I understand, and it's okay, and like I'm always here for you, no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter if we're talking or not. Like,
I believe that about him.
You know?" And I was like,
I do. And I think too, Willow, eventually you'll be able to have some kind of limited relationship with him.
Right.
In the future. The once this addiction is healed.
Unhealthy attachment first.
Yeah.
Right. So it's different than drugs and alcohol in that you can still talk to him in the future. Whereas with drugs and alcohol, you can never touch them again.
Well, I can't touch them again. But I've been sober for over 7 years now, and I can go hang out with my normie. We call them normies.
With people at the bar. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So for a while, though, you don't want to put yourself in that situation. When you're early in sobriety, like you don't need to test yourself. You have nothing to prove to anybody. You know what I mean?
Right. So I guess that's a good comparison. It's just like you can go out with your friends right now while they're, you know, drinking beers or gin and tonics, whatever. Pick your poison, whatever they're doing there, you know, eventually you'll be able to be around Joe in the same kind of
capacity. That's debatable. I believe Willow will with Joe in this case. I don't know if you can say that for every relationship that's ended.
No.
So I wouldn't seek to remain in contact with Joe in any capacity, honestly, if it weren't for the kids and the grandbaby.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably be more willing to cut the tie completely. But the fact of the matter is, like, I want to be able to tell me everything at Giovanni's wedding. You know what I mean?
You want to be part of the family.
Kind of. I want to be peripheral.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, you know, the long lost aunt or third or fourth cousin.
Yes, I like show up once in a while with fabulous presents. You have no idea where I've been. Like,
I love that. I love that family member. Who doesn't love that family member?
So right now, like, I'm on the struggle bus still, but it's been 3 weeks, so I am seeing some results. I feel a lot better from a lot of people in the spiritual community, like you guys, whether you know it or not.
Let us hear it.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
Want to hear it?
I really like going on the lives when I catch them. It just helps me like get perspective on different things. Also, when we're talking about things that have nothing to do with anything that I'm going through, on your live, Taylor, it's like I get out of my head, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Because there's a fine line between processing everything you need to process and then ruminating. And I got to walk that line, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's grounding you when you're talking about something.
And Sarah, like when you're talking about the transits and pulling cards, it's like, I need that, you know, for my day sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for you on a daily basis. Monday to Saturday.
I mean, it's so good to know. Even if I'm not on there every day, like I can, you know what I mean? Like,
it's available. Just knowing that it's available for you.
I have this like little circle of support now, like through Taylor and like all of this, of people I've never met in person, but like I feel like the support is real, you know?
I do too. Because it is. We do have each other's backs. We do. Absolutely.
It goes both ways. Like, for example, I mean, Taylor knows this because like he's my friend. Like he's my friend first, you know? He's the one that got me into a lot of this, and I mean, forever grateful. I can't. Like, it's changed my life so much. It's just given me so many more tools to like cope with stuff, and that's really what a lot of people, especially people who struggle with mental health issues, need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's all about coping. You know what I mean? And
coping skills,
readings and astrology, it just really brings some clarity and some perspective that like you might not get anywhere else. And I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Well, we're a fan of you too. We certainly are.
I mean,
so Willow.
Hope so.
You're on week 3 of no contact with Joe. And I know it's going to get easier for you every week. And you're going to need to check back in with us on this show to let us know how it's going. And if it's going to leave room for new love in your life, because I think there's going to be someone who's going to come in soon. I do. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really open to that yet. But I definitely will check back with you guys. I love the journey of Willow's saga on cosmic love.
So part 1, 2, and 3.
This is part 1.
Yeah, Willow part 1. Well, the part 1 came out in 1988.
Attachment addiction.
Yeah.
That's right. I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there for that for Taylor.
Pulling out all the stops.
Yeah. All right. Well, Willow, thank you so much for sharing that story. We're gonna we got a couple more callers to take, but I mean, this is amazing, and there's some things that I think Sarah and I are going to talk about with it that we're going to keep coming back to on this show about love and addiction and just the correlation there, because I think that's probably the first time it's come up on the show in that succinct of a way, and I think this is something that we need to have be part of the conversation, the love, the twin flame conversation especially.
Yeah, I agree. Or karmics.
It's all mixed up together. It's all tangled up together, you know, and you can't untangle it. It's not possible. So you have to holistically deal with these situations.
Right.
The brain chemicals, they're all tied up and mixed up and messed up. Absolutely.
Everything is like the brain chemicals, like your feelings that are coming from your soul are all mixed up. Everything's mixed up. Yeah. So you really need like that holistic approach, that mind, body, spirit, like
100%
method of recovery, you know?
Yes.
And people are resonating with what you're saying in the comments. People are just saying like, thank you for sharing this and what an incredible story and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's a personal story and it's a universal story because I think we've all dealt with that at some point in our lives.
Yeah, like why do I keep coming back to this person? It's just hurting me. It's holding me back from living my best life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for letting me share.
Of course.
That's too, you know?
We'll have you back.
Take the power out of it when you talk about it out loud.
Yeah.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, we'll have you back on in like a month or two to hear the next chapter.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. Love you guys. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya.
Yeah.
Powerful.
I know. Yeah, I'm telling you, Sarah, this conversation is going to continue because I think addiction is like one of the key words we've been missing this whole time, you know?
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right. Because when we keep on having these callers, you're like, why am I still talking to this person? Why
right.
am I still sleeping with this person? What is going on? Well, it's an addiction.
It's an
You can
addiction.
be addicted to a person. You absolutely can be.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
we talk about obsession a lot, especially in terms of Black Moon Lilith. And obviously, there's a lot of crossover between the two words. But addiction, like almost like what Willow said, neurologically, it's almost you know, a different side of the brain. It's just it's strong and it's hard to untangle that. It's hard to
Yes.
you know address that. It's hard to heal from that.
It's a coping mechanism too, because when people
Yeah,
are feeling lonely, whatever is going on in their life, they're just feeling anxious, they just might reach out to that person just to fill that void.
exactly. That's the hardest part. If you know, being alone, being when you're used to being with somebody, like I was dealing with this a lot when I was going through my divorce. That I knew all these married people or people in relationships are like, oh, I like being alone, ha. And I'm like, dude, I'm not talking about you know when your spouse is going out with their friends for one night. I'm
Right.
talking about when they've left you. I'm talking about 3 weeks later, 3 months later, a year later. Okay, not getting the house to yourself for a night while your kids are at grandma's. You
Right.
know, and I
Different.
could, like all these people in relationships, I couldn't get that out of them. They kept saying, "Oh, I enjoy. I like going for a walk alone." And I'm like, we're talking about such different degrees of alone here.
Right, because what it is with a married person or someone who's in a long-term committed relationship, it's a given that that other partner is going to come back in
Right.
5 hours or 2 days or two
Yep.
weeks. If they're in a business trip or
Right.
visiting family. But when you're alone, no one's coming back. And you don't know the timelines. You know,
Right.
someone that you would assume maybe eventually you'll be with someone else, but when is that? Who knows?
Right. Yeah. And when I was going through, you know, my divorce and I was living at home with, you know, my medical condition, I was like, I just felt like I had so many strikes against me. I'm like, I live at home. I have no money. Like I have a car that barely runs. I'm, you know, dealing with this autoimmune disease. And I'm like, the only way I can get back out into the dating world, and then COVID was happening too at the time. So it's like fucking a dating app. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and it's just like, how can I go from where I am now, just complete isolation and sick, to being in some kind of fucking loving union with somebody? I was like, I just for a while I couldn't see it. I'm like, I don't see this. I don't
Wasn't
see how.
wasn't adding up to you.
No, no. And you know, the irony is, I finally did meet someone on a dating app who lived in San Francisco, and the only reason why I met her is because my mom's house about 30 miles from San Francisco.
Okay.
I was hospitalized in San Francisco, and
Right.
I didn't even know it, but my Bumble was on. I didn't check Bumble while I was in the hospital, but the radius closed, so now I was in the San Francisco city limit radius. You never online dated, but people choose their radius, and most
Right.
people who live in major cities choose a 5 mile radius because they're snobs and they don't want to date outside the city. And people who live in the countryside will choose like a 100 mile radius because they're like, anybody, please, anybody. But so I was, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I was in like the center of San Francisco at the UCSF hospital, and so you know, my phone was picking up all these people in the area, and I was discharged. And when I was discharged, I had all these matches on Bumble, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot. You know, I hadn't even looked at that in a week, and yeah, I met someone who you know was like, oh hey, you seem cool. Do you want to meet up? I'm like. Yeah, I actually it was my last day in the hospital. We know when I knew I was going to be discharged. I'm like, I would love to. She's like, what are you up to today? I'm like, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm getting discharged from the hospital today, and I thought about it. I'm like, you know, fuck it. Who cares? Like, I'm going to have to tell the story anyway. And then, but the cool thing was is that honesty led to a sympathetic conversation. And she's like, oh my god, why are you in the hospital? I'm like, oh, I have a fucking autoimmune disease, blah blah blah. And she's like, oh wow. Wherever it goes from there, who cares? But I'm just saying, like, that's what led to it. It was, but the irony of that, you know, being in the city that connected
Sure.
me to somebody, and that's who I dated until I moved to LA.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So it was a caring connection. Seems like it.
No,
No, no.
no, she didn't really like me that much. She just we didn't like each other that much.
Oh, okay. I hear you. I hear you. For some
Yeah.
reason, like, you know what I pictured? Like she's calling you and you're like walking out of the hospital with like the hospital gown and the
Yeah.
IV bag. She just drives up and you just like, she just throws you into the car. That's what I was imagining.
Exactly.
Hospital socks and his hospital gown. It's like the butt out and everything. You know?
Should I go even more honest with this story?
Why not? Do it.
So, hey mom, hey dad. Basically, what it came down to, okay, she had a very busy schedule. She was a working girl in San Francisco. Well, not like a prostitute, like a busy girl. Yeah, a busy girl in San Francisco.
You're one.
Right.
Not working girl.
And so we were peeling back the layers of what it is that she wanted, because she was after me aggressively, but she didn't want to date at all. Oh. So I was like, what is it that you're looking for on here? She's like, well, I have a couple days off a week, and I have time slots in those days. And basically, I just want to get fucked.
Well, there you go.
I'm like, okay, well, for A, I'm interested. B, I have questions. You know what I mean? Like,
really,
so
like what kind of,
yeah. Like, okay, so what? Yeah, like, tell me a little more. Like, let me put on my glasses and let me see.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was very transactional. She just, she's going through a divorce herself.
Got it.
And she was very busy and she was working really hard, didn't have much time, and like basically and wanted only one person. She wasn't interested in seeing a bunch of people, but she didn't want to start a relationship on the tail end of this divorce.
That makes sense. Like she's being hygienic and whatnot. And
right.
Get it,
right.
Yeah.
Like she had like this criteria, obviously can't have STD, whatever the fuck, it's like you have a little checklist of things.
No, I respect that.
There has to be sexual chemistry. All this stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know. We met.
You filled her slot. You filled her slot. That's what you did.
I filled her slot. Okay, we met on the first. I went to her house. She gave me her address and everything, and she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm inviting a guy over who's like I'm inviting over for sex." And I was like, it's not the first time it's happened to me. So,
my friend Sarah thinks, she says, "I understand that." LOL.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. That's not the first time it's happened. So I'm not like a seasoned veteran at this, but I've had some experiences. So yeah, I show up at her house and like, here I am, like sitting in her living room, like cross-legged, like, well, yeah, originally my intentions are to build a film production company, and ultimately what I'm trying to
interview.
And she's like, okay, yeah. So I've been a yoga instructor for about 7 years now, and I'm certified. We're like going over our criteria. And I brought over wine, and we're like sitting there and just having a glass of wine. It's like noon, I'm like, this is just really weird. And then like, it's like almost like a movie scene. And then like after 15 minutes of talking, we both put down the wine and we like kind of kiss and feel that out.
Like, let's see. Does it taste okay? Is it like
right?
Okay.
Exactly. And like, the kiss wasn't bad. Like it was like, okay, there's a little bit of chemistry here, but like it was still so premeditated that it was like,
it kind of takes the heat out of it.
Exactly. And, to make a long story short, we closed the deal that day, and it was really good. It was really good. And then it got better from there because we actually started to get to know each other, and to make an even longer story, I think, I don't know if she's listening or what. She could be out there. She probably watches this show, but
I don't think she would mind if you told the story based on what you're saying.
Eventually, okay. So I was always planning on moving to LA. That was part of my kind of indifference, not emotional indifference, but why I had like 1 foot out of the whole thing, because this was in August and I was already dead set on after the new year, after January, I was going to move to LA, which is exactly what happened. So I knew minimum I'd be dating for, or it'd be around 4 to 6 months that would be dating. And she's like, that's perfect. That gives me enough time to get through my divorce and find a real man, a real boyfriend or whatever, and, get you out of here. Just, I was like,
just a test model, Taylor.
Yeah. It was like just the passing stud to get her back in her game, cause she'd been in like this failing relationship for, multiple years, and she just wanted to get back out there. And I was like a fucking stepping stone for that.
You were okay with it, as long as both of you were on the same page. I mean,
I was absolutely fine with it. I welcomed it because it was perfect for me in my last like 5 months in the Bay Area, to have this transition. Also, I was going to LA too, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I should go
Yeah.
You know,
And you just got over like this, well, not over, because you were in the process of getting over your divorce.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but then ultimately, this is where movies and books and all this they're all true because eventually feelings are caught. It's like those fucking, how to lose a guy in 10 days and all these bullshit like stories where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna like do this for a bet and all that, whatever. No, I mean, it's true. Eventually people catch feelings. You
It's a
can't,
bond.
you
It's a
can't
bond.
it's a bond. It's a strong bond. And that's what it was actually through her, not my ex-wife, that I really started understanding the exchange of sexual energy.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
because
same.
it's impossible to remove feelings from that unless you're fucking stone cold or like a sociopath or something.
There's people like that. There's people who don't even know who they slept with last week. And I don't understand that.
I don't think those people know how to fuck though. Like honestly, like I don't know, like because like we were having like near tantric sex. Like I don't know.
I think maybe for the other person, for the first few times, I'm going to speak from experience, it feels like amazing. But then when you realize like this person is a sociopath and they're just like doing it for themselves, like American Psycho kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Then you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like vanity sex.
this is nothing to do with me.
Right. But that is their defense. That's what I'm saying. Like when I'm saying don't know how to fuck, it's like it's not a connection at all.
Not a connection.
It's told like that's just like they're just fucking themselves at that point.
Yeah, exactly. You're just their human blow up doll.
Yeah, right.
We've all been through that.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
for worse. Most of the time for worse.
I know. Yeah. So
yeah, it's real. The sexual energy exchange is real. And if anybody tells you, yeah, you could just have casual sex and no, it doesn't work that way.
2 or 3
Especially
months.
like after a long term.
Yeah, 2 or 3. You get about 2 or 3 months of that, and then something. There's energy that the transfer of energy just builds up so much that it becomes too strong to continue at that level, unless both people are like, cheating on someone else. So that's like all it needs to be. But if both people are single and that is their connection, it's not.
Actually, I'll disagree with that. I think if that's when people catch feelings when they're cheating too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
100%.
then they'll start getting confused. Like, do I really want to be with him or do I want to be with him? Or do I want to be with her? Do I want to be with her? And it gets very confusing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because that bond
It is.
built.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to protect what the man wants to protect her and she wants him to protect her. And what a mess. What a mess we all make here on this planet.
What a mess. I know. Well, on that note, since I've revealed everything about myself, let's call your friend Sarah, right?
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what's going on with her. I know she's ready. She's staying
Save
up.
me from my personal stories here, because I got a lot, folks. I got a lot.
Oh, I'm getting the pen out. I'm like going to write some stuff down.
Yeah.
Taking notes.
Sarah,
Sarah.
Cosmic Love, how are you?
Nice. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So
why don't you just start from scratch with your story? Because my Sarah here didn't fully fill me in. So let's have you tell it.
I know. Okay, wait, hold on. Your turn.
Oh yeah, you can't watch while you talk because there's a delay. Old school radio style. Turn down your radio.
I know. Turn it down.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. You figured it out.
All right, is this good?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, you're fine.
Hey, what? You guys were having tantric sex?
What?
Were you?
Well, let's stick with your story first, then we'll tell you about ours. What do you got for us, Sarah? Who are you dating? Who are you having tantric sex with?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Is Sarah talking?
This is Taylor. Do I sound like Sarah?
I don't think so. Taylor sounds like a man. I hope I don't sound like a man.
No.
Sarah, what's your story?
Sarah, I think something's going on there. So
Sarah, having tantric
I think
sex.
there's some sort like audio thing going on.
Okay.
Are you listening to YouTube or to me talking?
Wait, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can do this different.
It's just a phone. You're literally just talking to me on my phone.
Okay, can you hear me?
We got you. We got you on the air.
Now we gotcha.
So what you got
Sarah? Sarah, what's going on?
Sarah,
Tell
do you
us about
have a love
the
story?
ex.
Tell us.
Oh, goodness. So,
Okay.
there's this guy. I started dating him, like October of 2020.
Okay.
And we officially got involved in January, like boyfriend, girlfriend. He's my first boyfriend post-divorce,
Okay.
which I divorced in 2006.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, to like really settle down with someone. You took your good old time.
Yes, I did open relationships until then.
Okay.
And I broke up with him in September, which was a while ago.
Right. It's been 4 months.
We've continued to talk, and I don't exactly know what to do with him.
Okay. So you don't know if you should get back with him or if it should just stick
Going for
with him.
But also, I'm not sure.
Okay. So what makes you not sure?
He's not super emotionally available.
It's hard because you're a Pisces, right? So you're like all about the emotions.
Yeah, I'm a Pisces. He's an Aries.
Oh, yeah.
That's rough. That's rough.
Which I know that those signs do not generally match.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not emotionally available. So have you talked to him about it? Or do you tell him like you're not emotionally available, you're not here for me? What do you tell him?
Yeah, we've talked about it. And like we both made lists of things that like we need from a person.
A list? Wow. That's adult.
And that was the number one thing on my list. It's like someone who can be emotionally available.
What do you like about him?
Question. I know what she likes about him.
He's very stable. He's very secure.
They're boring answers here. Come on, what do you like about him?
He's very caring. He has a good sense of humor.
Okay. Sense of humor. Before that, he sounded like a Toyota. He's reliable.
Sarah, you got to give us something good here.
Well, I mean, honestly, you said he seems like a Toyota. I think I told my therapist the other day that he's like a minivan.
I see you like him.
Yeah, come on. No, I don't like the minivan. I mean, we need something a little bit sexier than that.
Yeah, you guys have good sexual chemistry.
We do.
The minivan does the job. I hear you.
Although the best sexual chemistry that we have is when he's mad at me.
That's when the passionate side comes out.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
when Mars comes
You have hate sex.
Yeah. So do you purposely instigate him so you can have hate sex? I'm guilty of that.
Not purposefully, but it happens sometimes.
Oh, it happens.
Yeah.
Where I did something that made him mad, and he, I don't know, hate fucked me. Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah.
You can say anything you want.
This is uncensored. This is an uncensored program.
Okay. Yeah, and then he would hate fuck me, and it was really good.
Well, So the minivan all of a sudden transforms into a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Well, maybe like a 95 Ford Mustang or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's the boxy one, Taylor. The boxy one.
Mainly when I was mad at him. Or he was mad at me.
So as your therapist, I advise you to stay mad at him a lot, and the relationship will work out really well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
if you guys have lots of hate sex, yeah, instigate that. That's not healthy.
sustainable.
Well, I'm thinking at this point, I'm gonna get some tarot cards going. Taylor might too. We'll see if he wants.
Yeah.
Let's pull a tarot card about this guy and see is this the guy for you? Okay. Or should you move on and go to a different car lot and pick a brand new model?
What's this handsome fellow's name?
Dan.
Dan. Okay, so we're gonna say, should Sarah stay with Dan?
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep it simple for you.
I mean, he also has a big red truck, so it's not all Subaru.
How big is it?
It's a pretty big red truck.
Yeah, it's big, huh?
He took off the foot thing, so you got to climb into it.
Got to climb into it, huh?
I'm into it.
All right. Should Sarah stay with Dan? Here we go. I'll go first, Sarah, and then we'll see what we got here. So.
Sounds good.
Got a little jumper card there, but well, the Chariot.
Uh-oh.
Interesting you mentioned this truck because there is security in this, there is stability, but oftentimes but there needs to be movement also, and right now I'm sensing a total lack of movement from you guys. So you need to be a little more communicative about what you want and move more committedly in that direction, if committedly is a word. She likes to
conjugate it up here on the show. It now is a word.
Yeah, I did, right? Sarah, you tell me what you got, then let's mix and match here.
I got the Page of Pentacles. So it's interesting you talk about movement and stability.
Yeah.
So I think this relationship does have potential to move forward because it is so stable. But if you don't want the stability, if that's not attractive to you, then you have to find someone who I guess isn't as stable. If you want some wild, off the chain, dramatic relationship, then this person, Dan, is not the right one for you. But I mean, he's drawing some positive energy here. So
yeah,
I think the choice is yours, Sarah. Of course, the choice is yours. Taylor and I cannot make that choice for you. And I don't think we've told you anything really new, but do you want, well, I guess the question is, this is what I ask everybody who I read for. What is it that you want in a relationship? And how is this guy not making the mark?
I want the stability, but I also want the passion.
Aries should be very passionate. I'm wondering if he's like a 12th house with his sun or with his Mars. Insider information, but we should do a synastry chart for you guys because I'm curious why an Aries lacks passion.
Well, I mean, I think he does have passion.
But for other things.
Actually, I think he has a lot of passion for a lot of things.
But is it things that you're not interested in?
What?
Is the things that he has passion for things you're not passionate about?
Yeah, they tend to be.
That's where the unalignment or disalignment, or I don't know, I can't talk. I've been up for hours. I'm making up words now too, Taylor. You said committedly, I said disalignment.
There we go.
You guys all know what we mean here.
Yeah.
That's where it's coming from, because even though both of you are supposed to have separate interests, if he's really passionate about all these things that you have no interest in, like zero interest in, I feel like that's where the lack of a fire between you two and the lack of alignment is between you two, like why you don't want to be with him on a permanent basis, why you're even questioning this is because he's not lighting up your fire. So you're looking at him and you're like, yeah, he's this great guy. He's passionate about ABC, but if he's not lighting up your fire, like intellectually, creatively, that's why this relationship isn't where you want it to be. That's my take on it.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Because he does have a passion for certain things, but they're not things that I feel passionately about.
Yeah.
Are they things you think you can ever be passionate about, or it's like, no, like this is just boring. I don't care.
Boring.
I'm boring. I'm feeling boring too.
There could be some overlap. We could have a Venn diagram here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wish you the best here because we got to wrap the show up. But there is possibility of a future with you two. We like the stability, but we're going to have to unpack it a little more to find out what's going on with the passion. Yeah, we'd have to do a synastry chart reading because there's something missing here. But yeah.
Get his birth time if you can. You can call in next week.
Maybe I'll give him a call, see what he thinks.
Okay. Remember, put yourself first and think about what your priorities are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Sarah.
Well, thank you very much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, have a good night.
Soon. Bye.
Yeah, well, passion, huh? That was part of our life today, is the number one thing that makes relationships work.
Yeah, it makes them stick together.
Yeah,
throughout the hard times. And if you don't have it, just snooze fest.
Snooze fest, indeed.
Yeah. Both going to be on your phones at the restaurant.
I know.
I saw like people with their books at a restaurant, like their paperback novels just sitting together. It's like, oh, that's so sad. It's different when you're just reading next to each other at home on the couch, but you're out to a nice restaurant and you can't even make conversation.
Been there. I've been there with my ex-wife. We toward the end, we were at a total loss for what to say to each other. I don't think she found anything that I was interested in interesting. Very strange. Like, I'd like to think that the things I'm interested in are relatively interesting, but I think it was just nothing ever caught fire. Like, it just never led to a conversation. It was more like, oh.
I mean, like, not to dog you, because I think you're fantastic, but I'm surprised she married you if she didn't find you to be interesting. Because usually you marry a person because you think they're fantastic and they're interesting.
I think she thought the idea of me was interesting, but I don't think she thought the day-to-day reality of me was interesting.
To commit yourself to, supposedly commit yourself to a lifetime of someone who's not interesting sounds excruciating.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
I
agree. Well, Sarah, I'm going to do my meditation for anybody who's still out there after that last guest. If you guys are still on there and want to go over to IG, I'm going to be doing my ritual magic tonight. We're doing chakra alignment. Hop on over. It's going to be great. Sarah, you want to plug anything?
Sure. If you would like a reading with me, go on over to sarahashley.astrology.as.me, and I'm available for readings with you.
With you. Love it. She's very, very good, guys. As good as they get.
Aw, and Taylor's awesome too. So contact him. You have his website there, taylorfortune.com.
Ooh, I got it, folks. I got it. If it wasn't available, I might not be named Taylor Fortune.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, Taylor Gypsy. Oh, that's taken too. Taylor Mystic. Taylor Fortune. Okay, there we go.
Taylor Mystic sounds...
Yeah, shitty. No, to be honest with you, Taylor Fortune was always the number one pick. It's not my real last name, folks.
Yeah.
It's not my born Christian name.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
I'll see you later.
I'll see you later. I'll see you on the live, maybe.
To be continued.